Craig DeRoche, President and CEO of Family Policy Alliance, joining you live from the United States Capitol building. That's where I am. You know this frame, you've seen it before. And we're here today because you put us here. Family Policy Alliance and Christians Engaged is welcome in the halls of Congress. Members of the Senate will actually talk to us because of your support, because you call their offices so often and let them know who you are. We have 40 state organizations, Christian organizations that mobilize the social conservative movement in America to protect our civil liberties as Christians and as parents. Folks, we have never had a more productive season than we're having this spring in our entire movement's history. For like 50 years, it was going the wrong way, the wrong way, the wrong way with every decision. But here this week, we're celebrating a big, beautiful bill that is chock full of our priorities. And here to talk about that with me here in the Capitol is our government affairs director. You don't get to hear from him a lot, but he's an extraordinarily influential man. Dylan Jeremiah joins me now. Dylan, it is a privilege to be with you here in the United States Senate today. Tell everybody at Family Policy Alliance and Christians Engaged audience what Congress is doing this week.
Yes, Craig. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. It's always a thrill. But yes, so we are hard at work here in the United States Capitol here in Washington, D.C. The big thing going on right now is reconciliation. And so that's absolutely huge. This is a very rare opportunity that we have. The last time that conservatives had this chance, it was in 2017. So most people view this as a once a decade type opportunity. So what that means is that the House and the Senate are able to get together and decide on the budget. But during this special process, they only need a simple majority over the Senate. So normally when we pass bills, we need 60 votes. Now we just need 50 or 51 with the vice president coming in and breaking the tie there. So this is a really, really big opportunity. And right after the election, when we realized that the conservatives were going to have the House, they were going to have the Senate, and President Trump would be elected, we knew that we had a lot of opportunities and that we need to work quickly. So mere moments after we saw that, it was time to get to work.
So you've been working, and I've seen this. Dylan Jeremiah is an amazing government affairs director, but there's a lot of other people, a lot of other partners out there, social conservative partners that are our partners. They come to our event every summer. It's called Social Conservative Conference. Nearly 400 grass top CEOs of pregnancy resource center, homeschool groups, school choice, pro-life groups, you name it. The social conservative universe is celebrating right now, Dylan, because tell the audience some of the priorities that are still in the big, beautiful bill as we're reporting right now.
I would absolutely love to. And forgive me if I forget, because we have had so many big wins. It has been such an amazing season here in Washington. So far in the House bill text, we have defunded Planned Parenthood. So we are defunding big abortion once and for all. This has been a thorn in the side of our movement for almost over 3 decades now, longer than I've been alive. The Conservative Party, the conservatives, the social conservatives have been fighting for this, and we are right here at the 5-yard line. Not only that, we're going to be defunding gender transition for minors within Medicaid, another huge one. We saw that this really helped carry the president in Western Pennsylvania and some of the swing districts and swing states. So, we're making sure that the promises that he made to the American people during the campaign are going to be kept here. There's also some other really exciting ones that are a bit more nitty gritty in the weeds for our numbers people out there. So over in the House Ways and Means Committee, in the bill that they added into the reconciliation bill, we have the child tax credit that has been increased and expanded. So this is a big piece of President Trump's agenda in the first administration during the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It was a really exciting new idea that Republicans led on, and then very exciting now that we're going to be expanding that and increasing that to adjust with inflation here. So very exciting. As well, there will be adoption tax credit, so helping out those who are most needy and who can also be assisting families in need. Also very exciting, school choice. The ECCA is now in the reconciliation text. So absolutely amazing that we'll be able to get this done. This is going to help all kinds of kids all over the nation be able to choose maybe a different school outside of the one that they're attending, or maybe attend a Christian organization or a Catholic school of some kind. So really, really thrilling stuff. We are so thrilled to be able to work with Speaker Johnson, Chairman Guthrie, and so many others, because most often in Washington, you maybe get one asked and it's a coin flip whether you get it or not. And here we are, we've had a ton of asks and they're all in this bill. So we're absolutely thrilled. We cannot wait to see this big, beautiful bill get across the finish line, Craig.
In that, thank you, Dylan Jeremiah. I'm with Dylan Jeremiah. If you guys understand what his job is, just like corporations, we have a leader of government affairs in Washington, D.C., that brings your voice, that can go in a moment's notice into a senator's office, a president's office. Dylan and I were in the White House faith office yesterday for 3 hours. Paula White, the president's faith director, had a 15-minute meeting scheduled with Dylan and I. We were in there for almost 3 hours, Dylan. Tell us about this administration's approach to faith. Are we their friends or their foes? I've never seen anything like that, Dylan. Having that much interest in helping Americans, Christians, it was stunning to me.
Truly remarkable. And I mean, as you saw, Craig, and as I'm sure many listeners know, these are not people who are twiddling their thumbs. These people are go, go, go. They have got packed schedules. So what a blessing it was to be able to spend time with Paula in the White House. I mean, so neat. And yeah, for her to give us so much time. We're certainly friends of these folks. I mean, people that we work with all the time here in the social conservative movement, have been joining the White House, have been joining folks up on Capitol Hill. And so I like to say it's the same faces in new places. So these are longtime friends. And so I think that's what's so great about FPA is we've got these deep roots. And over time, these relationships, these friendships, these partnerships, they begin to pay off. And we are certainly friends of that administration. But I have to tip my cap to the president in that he really has elevated the faith office. In the past, it had been something that was, oh, this is kind of nice, sit in your corner, have a shiny toy, don't take too much noise. But the president elevated this office so that the only person they report to is him. And he's tasked them with legislative priorities, not just engagement, which is awesome. We're so happy that they're engaging with churches, with conservative organizations, with Christian organizations, with businesses. But the fact that they're going to be engaging in policy work is absolutely awesome. Someone that had been that recently joined their team, she was a longtime lawyer in this movement and was just drawn to this office due to their defense of religious liberty. And she had said, hey, when I read the First Amendment, the government's supposed to be defending religious liberty, right? But in all the cases I'm taking on, we're fighting the government. I'm defending someone else from the government. So these are friends of ours. These are great people. And we are certainly allies, friends, and partners in all of this. So we are, Craig, I know we've got to keep some of these things under our hat, but we are absolutely enthused, exhilarated about some of the news that'll be coming up soon.
Well, we want our friends to know that there's an open door in this White House. There's an open door for us to talk about our portfolio. They're taking it seriously, as Dylan just said. They're including not one of our issues. That's what most people get. What's their top issue? They're not including two or three of our issues. They're going as deep into our portfolio of issues as they possibly can stuff. So these are our friends. These are our partners. They know that Christians have been marginalized in America, that we've been treated poorly, and our civil rights haven't been at the tip of the tongue of the Justice Department and others. So, folks, we want to encourage you to, if you're a pastor, to go to the Faith Office's homepage, register with them, get notices. They have podcasts where they're going to update and engage. They want to be engaged where you live. They want to know what's going on with Christians, where in your community and how this White House can help. So, Dylan, it's great to be able to share that. And our hope in this bill, we want our audience, you've seen us on social media, encourage you to tell their representatives and senators to vote for this. Dylan, why is it that it was so hard for this president this week to get this support? Why is it important that we're helping him? And why is it so difficult for him to get to a yes on things that people have been campaigning for since the mid 1970s? And as a conservative, and then it's up on the board and they say, well, maybe I'm a no. What is that?
Yeah, of course, of course. And Craig, you weave these together really, really well. I think that a big hurdle that could be helped to be jumped over is folks engaging with the representatives when they come to town. They're hearing a lot of nonsense. There's protests. There's all kinds of people getting in their ear, and all of a sudden, they start to wonder, well, hey, am I really going against the grain here? But no, they need to be hearing from you all. They need to be hearing from the folks in their district saying, hey, we support this. We want you to be all involved. This is what we need. This is what we campaigned on. This is why we voted for you. So I love that you intertwine those 2 points well, but it has been tough, right? There's lots of different factions here. And like I said, this is a once a decade opportunity. So as Craig sees each morning, as I see each morning, the lines to get in these buildings are super long because guess what? Everybody's got a project. Everybody's got an ask. And, we got to figure out how to pay the bills. I'm sure when folks are budgeting at home, right? You got to make some concessions. You got to say, hey, maybe we can do without this. Maybe we need to add in this. It's the same thing, but it's a, multi-trillion-dollar behemoth. So just imagine if you had 350 million kids and trillions of dollars to spend, and everybody wants their piece of the pie, right? So we got to find some way to get this along. So that's why you're going to hear lots of news about, people bickering over what they want, what they don't want, what everybody needs. But I try and zoom out a little bit and say, hey, it can be a little bit crazy, but it's a wild circumstance, understandably.
Yeah, but I mean, this is it's a completely different day, Dylan. Thank you for all those disclaimers. But I'll add my commentary, and I'll be less diplomatic because I actually held a legislative seat. We have diplomats that work in our government affairs office, and Congress appreciates that. But I think there's a lot of fear going on. The people are finally getting their moment, folks. This is not trimming around the edges. This is what we actually should be excited about, right? We've been um, mollified, codified, whatever you want to call it, from different lobbies that would say, we'll give you one little thing. Like we're going to take this one pornographic book out of one school district for you. And that's all we're going to do for the year until the next election, right? And we're going to applaud. Folks, there are literally hundreds of changes like that in here. And it's not just the end result like that, like which book is on the library shelf. It's a structural change. What Dylan Jeremiah just told you was in this bill, we don't know how the week's going to go, but right now they're saying that the federal money follows the student where they want to go to school, right? So it could go to a Catholic school, it could go to a evangelical school, it could go to a specialty or a trade school, it could go to help their kid train if they want to pursue athletics or music or other things like that. And folks find out about that, Katie bar the door. That is, people talk about populism. It's not even populism; it's common sense. Why was the government telling the parents where the kids should go in the first place? That's in this bill, and that is what I'm trying to say. Is it isn't just the end result; it's the complete. It's like several 30-year structural campaigns are included in this bill. Or am I overstating it?
No, that's spot on. I mean, this feels like the wish list that I grew up on. These were all the big asks of the conservative movement for decades. And we're finally getting the opportunity to do that. It's a total thrill. It's really amazing. And, we couldn't have done it with everyone's support here. And I know it's been a long time coming. You often hear the quips, oh, we can't get it done when the lights are bright. But it's a very exciting moment right now. And it feels like we're at the 5-yard line.
And it does. So, folks, this is what we're going to leave you with today, Dylan and I. We need your help. We have the best audience on the entire planet. When we send you an email, you open it. We try not to burn you with fake urgencies and all the rest and stuff because we're just not that voice. But we're telling you we have a serious opportunity that some things that will get included in here, we might not get another shot for 20 or 30 years. Or it can get included in because this bill is probably going to pass. So we need to get as much in as we possibly can. We need your prayers. We covet them right now as you watch this podcast. We need you to call your legislators if you can. We need you to go for this. This is a compilation of everything. That's why we're asking for your support so strongly here. And we want you to compliment the people that are voting yes. We want them to hear from folks because right now the evil one wants to confuse people. This bill is so far from perfect. It is equally far from perfect, maybe, of everything else that a human body can do. But this has in priorities of life. It has in priorities of our faith. It has in priorities of religious liberty. It has priorities of education, healthcare that we have fought for decades. These are structural root changes that will make our country a better place to live and work and to raise our children in and they have a family. And so we're asking you to look at this for what it is. It's a breath of fresh air. It's America changing from a posture of decline, cultural decline, to one of restoration in the values that made us great in the first place. I hope that you're a part of engaging Christians where they live to participate in elections by absentee if they need to in every election that is held. And we need your support. And the reason why is so we can have more days like this, that Dylan and I are talking about, more weeks like this, because this is real stuff. This is what changes the trajectory of our country's future for decades and centuries and for many families' lives and down to the individual lives of life that will be born because of these. This week, other things were going on too, like we were at the White House lawn for another bill on Monday. Dylan, tell us about that.
Yeah, no, we had an awesome opportunity to see the Take It Down Act finally be signed into law by President Trump in the Rose Garden with the First Lady there. It was a really, really cool experience. I mean, this has been a long haul for FPA. I mean, we started working on this in the last Congress. We were pushing and pushing, and we thought we were going to get it at the end of the year. It didn't come to fruition. So it was amazing to finally see this get across the line with such bipartisan support, too.
And my I was there in the White House. Thank you to President Trump too for inviting so many pro-family organizations to proudly sit in the Rose Garden. That was a real treat. Did I hear them correct? There were 99 senators voted on that.
That's right. That's right. So I'm telling people, you may hear about all the tribalism on the news, but we're still able to get some things done. I think protecting kids online is a bipartisan issue, and I think this last vote surely showed it. Very, very thrilling stuff that we were able to get this across the finish line. And this has been a huge effort of FPA, protecting kids online, and this is an awesome first step. Absolutely thrilled to see this come to fruition. A huge shout out to Senator Cruz, Senator Klobuchar. Those two and their teams were absolutely tireless and fervent in this effort, and I'm so glad that they were able to witness it across the finish line.
It was amazing leadership, and that's why I love my job. It's like I don't even have to work for a living. Folks, we bring common sense a lot, and we want to remind you of that. Yes, certain bills are controversial that we advance right up until the point when people actually, it makes sense to them, like saving girls' sports, and it comes to 85% agree with us. That's what we saw here. This was a wildly top-tier bill. We just needed a organization powerful enough to help Congress pay attention to it. And that's the role that Family Policy Alliance and Christians Engaged was able to play because of your voices. All of our children, our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, our neighbors are going to be protected from AI deepfake porn, something that people talk about for decades and couldn't do, was done in a matter of days. Shout out to Melania Trump, too, for personally breaking some arms behind the senators' backs on that too. Dylan, great victory.
Oh yeah, an absolutely huge victory. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to see when it comes together like this. I mean, for like you were saying, Craig, the history books are going to be able to write all about this. And I think what's neat too is that this is the first time Congress ever legislated on AI, the very first time. So I'm certain, many people listening in aren't thinking that FPA is the artificial intelligence organization. But, I think when we saw this bill, Craig, we said, this is speaking our language. This is right up our alley and we got to jump in. And so we were one of the very first groups outside of the tech world to get involved in this. Now, there's lots of awesome groups out there that do work that we don't necessarily always do. But when Craig and I identified this, we said, we got to go after it. And so very thrilled that we were able to assist and be one of the very first conservative organizations, one of the very first Christian organizations to get involved here. And so it's been so much fun to be able to run with this. And then finally, at last, see it be signed into law.
Dylan, you want to take us out with your hope? What are you putting the odds that the bill passing this week? This is going to be dated horribly, but we got to have fun with it. Do we have a shot? Let me say it that way. Do we have a shot? Are wasting their jam, or do you think we can do this?
Yeah, no, I think we can do this. I know that the speaker still thinks we can get it done tonight. Hearing lots of conflicting voices, but I've learned one thing, this Congress is you never bet against Speaker Mike Johnson. So I'm very convinced that we'll get this done before the end of the week. Tonight, maybe not, but, he surprises me every single step of the way. So
Well, amazing. Thanks for being with us. Dylan Jeremiah, Government Affairs Director for Family Policy Alliance. It's a privilege to be here on the Hill, reporting to you. Thanks for all your support, folks. There's good things happening in America. Until next week, may God bless you and all that you do.